What's good, folks? It's been a minute. Bill with Jay here. I want to make this video today. Today's Wednesday, September the 10th. Shout out to my brother. You know who you are. Happy G Day, brother. Love you, man. We in this life together. God put us together for a reason. That's everybody, man. Today's a tough day. If you want to know how God exists, if you ever doubt God, which you shouldn't, but it's understandable. He understands this. People come to their faith in their own terms. We're like petulant children that way. But imagine the patience of our Creator to say, you know what? I know when you're going to come to me and I'll be there. And saying that, thank God for life today, because gratitude is first and foremost. And I just heard about Charlie Kirk, man. Young man, barely 30 years old, left behind a wife and kids. If you don't know who he is, you should check his material, man. He used to go to college campuses in the States and have open discourse or debate. The problem is with today's world is people get emotional, especially college students, because they've been brainwashed. They don't know they're brainwashed because they've been brainwashed and lied to. That's the reason why they don't think they're brainwashed and lied to. I mean, there's an agenda for schools to politicize themselves, so you don't learn anything. I mean, don't ever conflate education with intelligence, first and foremost. I know people would even pass grade 8, and these people are millionaires. Secondly, going back to Charlie Kirk, he was assassinated today. People honking their horns in this parking lot here. Zero patience. That's another thing about the world, man. You're going to have to learn patience. It's the only way to survive. You must have grace. But Charlie Kirk, rest in peace, man. He was assassinated today while on campus doing a debate. People have the right to agree to disagree. You don't have to have the same opinion as everybody else. That's what makes you a unique individual. The problem is a lot of these people have been radicalized. That's the word I was searching for. When you get radicalized, you lose your sense of self, because now you become an instrument of whom radicalized you. You know, it's a tough day when you can't have open discourse, because I'm not interested in arguing. After my divorce, gentlemen, stopped ever even getting into any arguments. I'm only interested in discussion. I can learn from that. Arguments, I can't learn from. There's no need for me to assert myself anyway. You're free to think what you wish. That's between you and God. It leads me to believe today that you know God exists. If you ever needed proof, I know He exists. I don't need proof. I am proof. But with all this evil, there cannot be evil without good. There cannot be hate without love. There can't be darkness without light. And it's unfortunate in these situations that there has to be fatal consequences, and they usually go unchecked. And I can't help but think of what the agenda is here, who they're trying to protect, what they're trying to do in the long run, because usually this always involves a confiscation of gun rights in the States. That brings up the Second Amendment rights. But we all know the Second Amendment protects the First Amendment. You have people counteract that and say, well, what's a small arms, a right to bear arms, going to do against the military? Well, look no further than up north. Your neighbors here. The only people allowed to have guns now? Criminals. Home invasions every day. 2 more in Toronto today I saw. People getting robbed left, right, and center. The own police, municipality police, urging citizens to fully cooperate. They've even went as far in Canada as in Ontario, a province in Canada like your states. They went as far as arresting the homeowner several weeks ago for waking up in the middle of the night, confronting an armed intruder, beat the snot out of the armed intruder. They charged the homeowner with assault, aggravated assault. In the States, that would be, I guess, aggravated battery. It makes no sense, man. Don't conflate laws with justice. Justice is from God. It's not ours to administer. We could set the appointment up sooner for them to meet God. But then now you got to deal with God. Is it your right to take a life? Justice system's corrupt here. You have so many temporary foreman workers. That's what they call them. TFWs. They're just used to subvert society, help Canadian businesses grow richer. I mean, you look at the Prime Minister here, Mark Carney. This guy he's a major shareholder in Brookfield Investments business company. They own Tim Hortons. So you have your own Prime Minister owning established franchise that's embedded in Canadian culture. Barely any Canadians work there. No matter where you go, it's all Indians now. There's like 20 million of them here. Let me make something very clear here. I have zero problems with people because I know these Indians and everyone else have been lied to as well. My problem comes when the government takes hardworking third-generation Canadians like myself, takes their taxpayers' money while people are starving, and gives it to people that come here, don't gotta work, are able to live on Easy Street while cost of living sky high. They can have more kids. People can't afford to have kids here. You see how everything goes, the corruption of society, and it's all because people are far from God. I always wondered as a child, why did they stop removing prayer from public school? Why did they remove symbolism of God? You know, you can argue, well, is that symbolism real? You know, you can argue that whatever you want, but that's not my point. Going back to Charlie Kirk, man, he didn't deserve this. His wife has to suffer, be haunted with this memory the rest of her life. And I pray that she knows that her husband was a good hero, man. This guy fought the battle against lies. And lies hate the truth. When it comes to personal dynamics or interpersonal dynamics between people, you'll come across people who absolutely find the truth abhorrent. And that's because they're embedded with lies. They're embedded with, and who is the father of lies? Is Satan. So you got to look at the father of evil, the prince of evil. He's in here, man. This is his plane of existence. He rules this area. God has deemed it so. People always paint him as some red, scary character. In the Bible, it depicts him as one of the most beautiful angels ever. Lucifer means the light bringer. You got to remember that even he serves God's purpose. That's why I said to you in the last video, we're in a battle of principalities of good and evil. I was just having a conversation with one of my aunts today. God bless her. She's one of the wisest people I know. Very close to God. We're talking about God a lot today, and just makes me sad to hear about Charlie Kirk, knowing he had a wife and kids, man. I know what it's like to grow up without a father. My father was murdered when I was 6 years old. I'm 43. It took me many, many decades to reconcile that anger I held inside. People have no right to take someone's life like that, man. I understand if it's to preserve a life, but he wasn't harming nobody. Words are only words. It goes back to being in control of your emotions. You must be in control of your own emotions. If not, your enemies will use them to manipulate you. And look what happens, man. Wait till 6 months down the road. The internet's undefeated, eh? About 6 months down the road or less, we're going to find out who was behind it. You know, there's already the rumor mills are starting. I'll let you research your own. But look at who he's an advocate against. Look who he recently came out against. A lot of the world, everybody always says, you know, I'm just trying to put 2 and 2 together. I don't know. But, you know, he came out recently against the actions of the Israeli government, for example. Look what they did in Gaza. They completely almost genocided a whole civilization of people. Women and children, men, no one spared. And then cry victim about it too. Disgust me. Everybody here has an opinion about war. Unless you're engaged in the war yourself, you shouldn't have an opinion. But I can't condone innocent people dying. No brothers should die, or sisters for that matter, or any children, for a banker's war. Fuck that. And what does God say about harming his children, man? Those who harm God's children are better off drowning in the bottom of the ocean with a millstone hanging around the neck compared to what he's going to do to them. It's hard as human beings, though, to fathom, because we want things done on our time and we think we have the justice. It's not our responsibility, it's God's. And people can say that's a cop-out, but you know what? That's your choice of opinion, man. But you look at him, he came out against the Israeli government's actions. You know, and I see already the rumor mill starting. There's, you know, there was an assassination. Someone was on the rooftop, kind of similar to the president's assassination. Kind of makes it hard to believe that with all this security, people can still get assassinated. I mean, it came out that the CIA ended up killing their own president. You know, Kennedy. It's just sad, man. Sad and unnecessary violence. People don't understand. They always ask me why I'm so peaceful and so kind, man. Because the way I built my body up, I've used my aggression and rage to build strength. Because the only way you could be capable of peace is be capable of true violence. But these people aren't capable of peace because they're at war with themselves and they're in bed with the devil. They're not capable of peace. And they're going to have to come to face the consequences of their actions. Leading back to what I was thinking about Israel is that, you know, I was thinking about it. Everybody was saying that Gaza is occupied by Israel. Nah, that's not true. The harsh truth is the whole world is. And the only place that wasn't was Gaza Strip. That's why they invaded it. And I'm not saying Israeli people are bad. Governments worldwide are corrupt. Look at what's going on in the world. People aren't necessarily inherently bad. It's if they allow themselves to walk with lies and listen to the lamestream media that all their job is to do is propagate lies to you and fill you with hatred, program you. TV used to be called, when I was a child, TV was saying every night, welcome to your nightly programming. The man who invented the television was interviewed, and when asked, what do you let your children watch on the television? He said, I don't want them to be programmed. You know, I'm loosely quoting him, but go look it up yourself. I hold no reason to lie to you. I hold zero reason to lie because I'd be lying to myself and I'd be lying to God. And I refuse to do that. You gotta repent, people. I feel like the last days is here, man. Governments worldwide are facing the wrath of people now. They've had enough. Nepal burned their parliament down. They're beating almost the living life out of politicians. And oddly enough, the last straw of it all was the social media ban. Odd thing to pick a hill to die on. I mean, if you're going to die on any hill, it's odd, but hey, at least they got the idea. You looked in Lebanon, man, it was only a year or two ago. Those people are warriors, man. They caught their prime minister or president, whatever he is, their leader of the country, with 15 million taxpayer dollars while the people couldn't even go to a bank and they were starving. War-torn country, giving that money, $15 million, to a mistress of his. They built a hangman's stage, a noose, right in front of their parliament. They all fled. Nepal, the Nepalese people, burned down the building, parliamentary building, I guess. They had to flee by helicopter. Their prime minister resigned. Italy's at, their public is in riot mode right now. The police even joined them at one point. France's government is dissolved. They're demanding that the only one working right now, who is the prime minister, resign, or else they'll stay resolved, trigger a new election. But I mean, what's an election going to do too? It's an illusion of choice. You actually think that these people here, these scumbags, they got to be demons. They got to be demons. How can a conscientious person who loves their people allow people to suffer like this? And it's not suffer, pardon me. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is a choice. But how could you allow your people to go through so much pain, barely afford to live, letting foreigners come and live for free and prosper at your misery? That's even worse. That's even worse. That's treason. People used to get hung or shot dead for that. You know, back in the day when a king or a queen overstepped their bounds, they were beheaded by a group of knights or even common folk. That's how they kept them in check. You got to think about the state now. To serve and protect. When I was young, I was taught just like everybody else. I conflated the two. I never had anyone to instill critical thinking in me. It was only through God's grace and discernment I was blessed with. But to serve and protect is not for the public's interest. It's for the state's interest. Also, look what's going on now. You got a lot of OPP, a lot of municipalities, automated speed cameras, highway speed radar traps. So you have to serve and protect for the state and to observe and collect for the state. These people printed so much money, caused this collapse of society, especially up here in Canada during COVID. And now look where we're at. You think printing all this money and spending all this money, giving all this money to Ukraine, you don't think all these politicians getting kickbacks? Come on, man. Were born last night? People aren't the problem. Governments worldwide are the problem. Humans weren't supposed to live this way. That's why I'm always preaching health. If you see my channel, I've got videos on how to exercise, get your health right. I could start showing you how to eat. Things like that, you know, at least how I do it. Even now it's getting tough to eat, man. Look at relationship dynamics, man. Marriage is a death trap for men. The failure level of marriages now is astronomical. There's no incentive anymore for us to be in it. That's why I tell you, man, protect your assets, protect yourself, man. You want to get married, go to family court first. See how men are treated. You know, the sad part is Charlie Kirk, from what I know, him and his wife had a healthy relationship, and now he's not going to be here to enjoy it. She has to live here with those kids and survive based on his legacy. She was robbed of love, and even worse, for political means. Whoever did this, man, you're going to face God's punishment and judgment. It's not my job to judge, but I'm telling you, if you think your consequences here, when you sin here, and God knows I've sinned, God knows I repent too, and I'm abstaining. I practice every day to abstain and repent constantly, be a best version of myself. I pray all the time, dear God, please help me to be the truest version of myself so I can realize your purpose for me. Protect my health. Bless me with discernment. Thank you for placing people in my life. Thank you for being there for me and carrying me when I'm weak. But you know what, man? This shit just pisses me off, man. You didn't deserve that, man. A few days before this, too, that poor girl in Georgia, sitting on a bus. No interaction at all. Man behind her stabs her in the throat, gone. She didn't provoke him at all. Even if she did, you don't kill someone over it. But unprovoked, killed. People that are so brainwashed starting fundraisers for him, trying to absolve him, trying to justify his actions because what? You share immutable birth characteristics, skin tone? Get the fuck out of here, man. How stupid are you? How godless are you? You need to get right with God. And that's the problem, man. This world needs more God. This world needs Jesus, man. And I feel like it's last days here, folks. Our freedoms have been dwindling. Looking in Canada, man, we don't have freedoms. They told you flat out, you have government-given permissions. Fuck that. When it came to COVID, you couldn't tell me to do shit. I decide what goes in my body based on God's discernment for me. Government doesn't dictate my life. You don't pay for my bills. But you know what? People live in fear because they don't walk with God. I left this country for a reason. I came back for reasons. It's starting to look like I have to leave again. Tax is too much here, man. Crime is too much. Listen, man, if you're in the Toronto area or Ontario province, you live in the States, you live in Mexico. I've experienced working in all these places, man. I own my own company, Black and White Protection Group, Inc., bwprotection.com. You need some help, man? Let us protect your peace. I wish I could have been there for Charlie Kirk, man. For someone who was such a prominent figure who did so much good for the world. It's hard for me to believe that he had no security, no detail on him, how this could happen. It all seems set up, man. The world's a fucking stage, man. It really is. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. And furthermore, to extrapolate that, the world that he rules over severs you from a child, from being on God's frequency of kindness and love. The school system's designed that way. They don't teach you shit. They don't teach you how to run a business, how to create a business. They teach you how to be a slave for the tax system, man. The government doesn't need your taxes when they print money. Think about that. This whole system's a joke, man. I pray to God every day. I'm very frustrated right now. I'm about to go in the gym the second time today. Got to get out of my head, man. Get my body right. The world needs more grace, man. I look at my past relationship this year. It pains me to see that someone that you gave unrequited love to, unconditional love, unconditional support and loyalty, it pains me to see them paint you as a bad guy. And they have to. When they live in chaos, they truly believe in the victimhood mentality because they don't want to grow. It's too painful. Growing pains. Very painful. But if you change your mindset, nothing is of loss. If a relationship doesn't work out, that's not loss. You are gaining something from that. God is actually protecting you by removing those people from your life. Learn to organize your emotions, man. Don't gotta be out here killing people if you don't have to. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, man. That guy was always on point. He made me laugh enough. Very thought-provoking. Fucking tragic, man. My heart goes out to his family. And that Ukrainian woman in Georgia, Irina, I believe her name was. You know, rest in peace to you, too. Gone too soon, man. When it comes to love, gentlemen, remember, if ladies out there watching, take this advice as well. Heed this too. Be careful with your love. Love isn't cheap. But the more you love someone, the equally the pain will be if they don't return it. So be careful with whom you love, man. Because not everybody deserves your love. Everybody deserves grace and forgiveness, and God knows I ask for it every day. But things don't work out. You got to learn to let go and let God, man. That's all God wants, is just to give it to him. You know, the moment you take your eyes off Jesus and God, I'm telling you, That's the moment you start failing. When they deem us ready, they'll place someone in your life for you. It's I don't know what else to say, man. I'm very disheartened by all this. Definitely feels like last times, man. I always wonder if we're in end times right now. The world needs kindness. Everybody asks me, man. They always tell me, Jay, you look so buff and intimidating and, you know, bald guy with tattoos everywhere. But then when I talk to you, you're just so kind. Why are you so kind? And I tell people, if you had to feel the pain I had to feel, you would never want anybody else to feel that pain. That's why you have to be kind, man. Think about God's love for us. My love and my kindness is given by God only through his grace. But there's limits to it, man. And God knows I'm trying. There's limits to it, man. It's been testing me life lately. The burdens of life have been mad heavy. Mad heavy. But you know what? The Bible tells us, do not be discouraged and do not fear. And God knows I'm trying to do that every day, man. I fear nothing but God himself. And people say, what does that mean? Fear is a sign of respect when it comes to God. I don't need people to fear me. You could do me wrong. It doesn't matter, man. There's a limit to when I turn the cheek. It's when you lay a hand on me. But words are just words, man. When you interfere with my life or someone else, that's when I have to act. But I also try not to put myself in those positions unless professionally. Man, hire yourself some security. I know it feels like it's kind of a shameless plug. My apologies, that's not my intention. But it just seems aptly put right now. Fuck, man. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. God bless you and your family, man. Sending love and prayers to your family, man. You got a wife, kids, husband. Go hug them right now and tell them you love them. We only get one day at a time. What baffles me about agnostic people is, people seem to need tangible proof of God's existence, but yet set their alarm clock to get up the next morning when it's not guaranteed. You got to develop your faith, man. Mind, body, and soul. You got to be harmonious because this world's evil. I understand what God means when he says, do not love this world, for if you do, you do not know what it's like to love me. And God knows I love him wholeheartedly, unequivocally. I trust him. I love him. You should get right with God, folks. Man, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. As usual, folks, God bless you. Peace.